Well, hairy carpets.
It's a hairy topic.
Oh, if you missed the last thing, we were just talking about the carpet. It was a natural wool carpet and it was shedding. And the reason they were using the wrong type of vacuum cleaner or without a power head to actually get those fibres out.
Yeah.
Good. So what vacuum cleaners should you be using?
Look, as a general rule of thumb, the only time that you really go against this is when you have what we call a loosely spun loop high wool carpet.
Right.
Okay, or anything made with what's a staple yarn, which is a short length of fibre.
Yeah.
Okay, and if they're loosely spun, you can damage them, and that's the only time you would only use a suction only vacuum cleaner.
Right.
Every other carpet will always benefit from an upright vacuum cleaner with that roller bar in it. That is just an absolute given.
So someone gets their carpet, and obviously carpet is expensive, and beautiful wool carpets, absolutely gorgeous. If they'd had their upright vacuum cleaner, is there a frequency that they should have been vacuuming? Is it more when they first get it? Is it less, or is it just a steady? What do you work on?
At the start, a wool carpet is going to shed. It's
Right.
going to shed lots, and it's quite frightening. And a lot of people think, "Oh my God, my carpet's falling to
I'll
pieces."
be bald.
Well, that's what they actually say, and I've heard that comment quite a few times.
Yeah.
But the truth is that during the manufacturing process, we're winding those fibres and spinning them into a yarn. Okay, so they've been held in by friction. Because they're short little bits, there's always going to be little extra bits poking out here and there and everywhere, and they will shed. Go to a carpet factory that does wool carpet, and you should see the amount of fluff and dust floating around them. They're incredible.
It's a bit like having our old haircut. When you've had your haircut, you
Oh,
go
pretty
home and
much.
you wash your hair and all the loose stuff falls out. You go, where's all this coming from?
Yeah. So there's all those little extra bits that
Right.
they haven't quite bound into the yarn, and they'll pull out and they will shed. And in fact, as I said to you before, quite often a show with the quality carpet is how much it sheds. Because if it's got a lot of fibre to give off, that's a very heavy duty carpet, it's going to shed a lot of fibre, and it will do over its lifetime.
You're going to get people calling their mates, look how much my carpet's shedding. I got good. Look how much
Mine's better than yours, yeah.
Look how much I got out of it. That's fascinating. I never even realised that with wool carpets, that they would, or natural fibre carpets, that they actually do.
They're going to shed. And it's not just natural fibre, as I said, it's when sometimes you have the synthetic yarns that are cut into short length as well.
Right.
They're called staple fibre when they're in the short length, and they're trying to emulate wool.
Right. Okay.
And they'll have the same sort of issues.
Yeah. Wow. So we come back to, you've got your carpet. How often should you vacuum this thing?
Look, if you're not doing it weekly, you're doing your carpet and yourself a great disservice.
Right.
To be able to get those contaminants out of the carpet, those dry particulate matter soils that are going to be sitting in the carpet, that's what you really want to get rid of, okay? You need to have a vacuum cleaner that has a HEPA filter. High efficiency particle arrestor is what that stands for. So
look for HEPA on the barrel.
Look for HEPA on the barrel. If it doesn't have a HEPA filter on it, which the majority of the vacuum cleaners do these days, but a lot of the cheaper ones won't.
Yeah.
Cheap doesn't mean it's going to be good, and just because it says it's got 2,500 watts of suction power, it means nothing at all.
I remember the advert where I can't remember who does it, but they pick up the bowling ball with it.
Absolutely, and you can do that with pretty much almost any vacuum cleaner. Now the thing with that is that in a vacuum, what's a vacuum? It's an absence of air. There's no air movement at all, and without air movement, it's not picking anything up off your carpet. So if you've got a vacuum cleaner that's binding down on the carpet, you're struggling to push this thing along, it's not picking anything up. It's actually doing nothing at all. You need some air movement for it to pick the soil up out of the carpet. Just straight out suction means nothing.
Wow.
Okay, so the thing we go into, it gets a bit more technical, it's called air watts. So you've got to look at the actual airflow versus the lift capabilities to be able to make sure that you're getting the performance that you need at the carpet face and into the machine.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I said, binding down on the carpet is not a show of strength. That's all it tells me is how much power that your meter's spinning around and wasting.
But when you get a brand new carpet, so we vacuum weekly on regular, but if you've just got one of these new carpets installed, should you give that a few vacuums to get it going?
It needs to get some of that excess fluff out. So a good every couple of days, just get a little bit more out. You'll find it quite often with those newer ones as well, especially if they're a cut pile carpet, they seem to be a bit more prone to it. Even just walking around, they'll start shedding as you're walking across them, and there'll be little balls of fluff developing everywhere. Quick vacuum and away you go. But it will happen depending on the type of carpet.
Yep.
Okay, it'll happen even up to a year later. That you'll
I
still
was
see
going to
that
ask
fluff
you how
developing.
long it actually sheds for. So up to a year later.
Yeah, and look, it'll shed constantly throughout its life. It's not something to be worried about.
So I was just going to ask you that because as carpet cleaners and specialists, when you go in and you see these types of carpets, do you have to take more care in what you're actually doing and how you actually treat them so you don't just strip them out?
Oh, yes, yeah. We can't be too aggressive with them, okay, with our cleaning protocols or whatever we happen to be using.
Yeah.
Okay, so we come in with a really stiff brush, for instance, and we need to do a bit of an agitation during the cleaning. Use that stiff brush over a nice loop pile wool carpet, and you end up with a really fuzzy carpet. And I can tell when someone's done that quite readily. If I go into a job and you just see this, it's a hairy mess, like, someone didn't do their job right before. Which is probably why I've been caught in, because someone wasn't happy with the last one.
I was going to say, because it's one of those industries, unfortunately, where people can just go and hire a machine or buy a machine, put it in a van, put a sticker on and drive around and say, I'm a carpet cleaner, and they think it's easy.
Yes.
And then things start to go wrong, and they start to go, oh, it must be the carpet.
It always gets pointed at the carpet. The carpet's to blame. You know, there's something wrong with the carpet. When generally speaking, there's nothing wrong with the carpet. It hasn't been treated correctly, and it's not, and it's responded accordingly.
So for people watching who've got wool and natural fibre carpets and these short synthetics are simulating it, it's definitely advisable if you've spent that much money, get someone who's accredited with the Carpet Cleaners Association and look at their qualifications and insurances.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Yeah, if they don't have any of those insurances in place, walk away straight away.
Yep.
If they don't have any sort of qualifications at all, any sort of training background that they can actually prove to you, just because I had an instance where someone that I know had a person come and do the carpets and made a bit of a mess of it, unfortunately. Yeah. And the question was asked what training you've had, and he said YouTube.
I think we'll take a break.